Hey tubers, so today I finally did it and I canceled my family's health insurance. Now, it's pretty scary, but what was scarier was the fact that we got the quote of what it would be next year and it was literally double. And what we've had hasn't covered anything. You know, my kid's gone to the dentist and we've had to pay out of pocket every time. When we first moved back from Germany and we got some health insurance, it was pushing around $200, which was doable. Then the next year went up to, like $250. It's kind of doable. This last year it's been at $400, $390 something, right? And I was like, okay, if something happens, man, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And this last time around, or this year, it was gonna be like almost $800, dude. And my wife's been telling me to cancel it. You know, my wife's pretty young, my kid's 7, so they're like made of rubber. We like to mountain bike, so there's that. But besides that, we don't live a very dangerous lifestyle. We try to eat as good as we can. There's a lot of sweets involved. That's probably the worst part. But I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't. It's like, what for? What for? I posted another video recently about giving up on the hopes of owning a home unless I win the lottery or my investments take off. But even if they do take off, do I want to deal with prices that can change from one year to the next, right? One of the things that affected my decision was the fact that my sister had come down with funny enough, I just got interrupted because the healthcare marketplace was giving me a call to let me know that my prices were going to go up next year, so I should log on to check it out and all this. And yeah, so we got rid of that. But as I was saying, my sister came down with the C word in her uterus, and she had to have that taken care of, but she was able to buy insurance as she needed it. And I think that's kind of the strategy we're going to take for the time being. Or just pay out of pocket. I've been watching a lot of videos, because we've had this concern for the last 2 years now. And a lot of people, it's just cheaper to just pay out of pocket. Take out a loan or whatever, do that, than to give up all this money all year for them to just keep raising it for nothing. How many of you guys are living without health insurance? I mean, I'm sure a ton of people. I didn't have health insurance until I moved to Germany. I mean, I had it before, of course, here in the States back in the day when your job used to, I think the last job I had that gave me health insurance, I worked at Barnes & Noble's a long time ago. And I think I'm not sure if when I was an EMT, if I was covered by the company I worked for. But I never used it. It was pretty healthy for the most part. Didn't even have to use it. But now that I have a family, you live and you're like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but what if something happens? And so I've been kind of just paying out of guilt. But luckily my wife is on the same page and she's like, man, just get rid of it, So we did that. And how many of you are living without it? And how is this going to get better? Are they going to ever roll back prices? This is just how it is now in the States? Every year it's going to go up and up. We lived in Germany for a little bit. With my wife, most her life. She was born there, and I lived there for 7 years. And, living in the States, I could earn more money, but I always just earned enough, to not have to worry about taxes and shit. It was pretty punk rock, and I didn't care. I didn't see myself having a family or wanting kids for that matter. And I remember when we ended up when she got pregnant in Germany, you know, the childbirth was paid for. She got a midwife for free. She could take as long as she wanted for maternity leave. And that was pretty cool. But over there, they tax you out the ass. I mean, at least 50%. I remember the shop I worked at. I came from such a hustle hard mentality coming from South Florida. Like, man, you gotta hustle and make as much money as you can. And then this dude I worked with, this guy just jumped in front of me. What's wrong with you people? Dude I worked with, like, he would do like 1 or 2 tattoos a day and be like, that's it. Start smoking cigarettes and having beers. Like, dude, you don't want to hustle? You don't want to make, $1,000, $2,000 a day? Like, what's your problem? He's like, dude, the more you make, the more they take. And like, that was kind of everybody's vibe there. And it grew on me, and then eventually I was like, oh shit, you mean I can go finish work and go on walks with my girlfriend and go visit cafes and all that, which was super cool. So yeah, I guess I'll end it there. Thanks for listening. And do you have health insurance? Are you going without? What's the strategy? Is it going down? Is it going up? All right, to the next one.